Hello and welcome to Talking with the Center of the Universe, number 5. And today's guest is Sanjey Sureshkumar from Sasusu Radio. Did I say that right?
Yes, that's totally right.
All the way from Tromsø?
Yes, the north.
Up in the high north. Today we are streaming without Kristoffer, so we hope we're able to do this right. So, but you're a video guy, so I think you just fix the stuff if things break here. But straight to the first question. Yeah, you're both a DJ and a video guy. How did it all start?
Well, a good question. Where do you start? I've always been interested in music, and I've been when I was a child, I watched a lot of TV. I had no limits on TV, so I just kept on watching TV the whole time. And I guess at some point I bought some turntables and started mixing all by myself at home. I had no other friends doing it. And then, after that I quit because it was kind of boring doing it by yourself. And then studied to be a journalist. Found out I really wanted to do something more creative. Then I became an artist. And also went to study film and art at the same time. So that's when I kind of started making music also for the films that I did. And then suddenly I do film and sound and music.
Yeah, but you grew up in Skien?
Yes.
Yeah, and how was that?
That was quite, it's quite a really average childhood, I guess. I'm a football guy.
You're a football guy, yeah. But where I come from, is like I wasn't interested in football, and that kind of put me aside. Maybe that's the reason I do music, because there was like people doing football and there were people doing drugs, but I didn't do none of it actually. So yeah, but it was like boring. Was it like get you inspired that it was so boring? You have to do stuff yourself.
Yeah, I think so. I think at least with football you learn how to be a teammate. But when I was DJing by myself, I had no teammates. But then you find out after a while, when you find people with common interests, and you see that you can build up a lot of energy and you can do things yourself. It's just a one-way street for me.
Yeah, but now you're not a lonely DJ anymore.
No, now we have our own radio, Sasusu Radio.
Mm. And that's you and RJ, your brother?
My brother, and then we have a lot of people who come in and out, members. You've been also a part of a project there, and we have people who come in and out of projects, because it's really also an art project, so we actually do a lot of artworks. It's not just a common radio, it's more inspired by a Norwegian Tamil radios in Norway, and also Tamil diaspora radios around the world.
Yeah, so it's a diaspora radio, but you don't broadcast like too often. You don't have like every week or every night, or you broadcast like, how do you broadcast?
Well, we do most of it physically, like live radio shows. So one of the first art projects we did at Sasusu Radio was the car audio system that we built with my father when I was studying in Lofoten in Kabelvåg. And then the story behind that is that my father, when he came to Norway, he started competing in Norwegian Championship for car audio systems. And then we kind of wanted to celebrate that as a Norwegian Tamil history. And then after we built it, I made like an installation with a video inside that showed like a art piece or a video piece inside. And then after a while I found out I can go around traveling with this car and meet other people and do radio shows on the go. So that's basically what we do now, is do like live radio shows, interviewing people with interest in the Norwegian Tamil discourse or conversations, but also within like migration, like the topics around migration and other perspectives, you know.
When I got to know you, you were in Kabelvåg, where you also went to film school, and we were driving around in Lofoten with his car, and it was I couldn't like actually believe this project. It's like first we will have a little film clip soon. I'm on to the next question now. What is Sasusu Radio and what's the thought behind the project? You already answered that, but it's a sound system, culture and art piece in one car, built by you and your father. And I think what's interesting for me is that I've always thought about the sound system culture as something from the dub and reggae community and something Jamaican and like Caribbean but you have Tamil culture for that too.
Yeah, you could think so, but actually, like my father, he got interested in building car audio systems when he got a job in Skien, working at the railway or the train railway system, or the company called NSB, the National Railway Roads. And there his colleagues were interested in building car audio systems, so he joined in. But I think, like, if you think about it, in Sri Lanka as well, there are so many speakers just driving around, screaming this and that, and people talking and driving around with different type of messages, especially during the war, while they were kind of also using it as propaganda machine. So I'm not saying we're using it as a propaganda machine now, but we kind of use it as a way to kind of get to meet people, make meeting places, but also create some energy, you know.
Yeah, so you could drive. The fun thing about this sound system is that you could, when I played on this sound system, you drove into a backyard in Greenland and you opened up the bagage and connected turntables, and there you go. You have like mobile party, and that was super fun, and it was a cool experience for me. Maybe we should have a look at this thing.
Yeah,
yeah,
definitely.
Yeah, a small look at this thing.
Men de her er jo for små for den her.
Nei, det går samme der da. Hører jeg ikke noe var det gærent. Ja.
Er det riktig nå?
Ja, det er
Det er fortsatt riktig.
Ja.
Har du litt å jobbe med tog,
Vi må
eller?
presse inn den andre litt mer. Se, det
Sveitsfilm.
er litt mellomrom på siden først. Om den går igjennom først.
Du trenger ikke å smelle av, da.
La det ratte da.
Sånn.
Har du mistet?
Nei, jeg har den her. Men jeg tror det blir litt mye her, altså.
sånn.
Du
Og
skulle
så
legge
blir den sånn.
under. Da bare begynne å dra til med en skrue inne først, når da legger vi under med en gang, og så begynner.
Ja.
Ja, det blir ødelagt der. Må ha den lenger inn, tror jeg. Ja, det går. Ja, det er greit.
Vi har gått den bilen.
230 eller noe? Hæ?
Av meg 70 000 gått.
Ja, det har vi snakket om.
Ja.
Skjønner ikke.
Skal jeg vippe noen, eller?
Ja, litt nå.
Hvis du flytter hånda di.
Bouger, bouger, bouger.
Yeah, Sanjay. Yeah, that car system, it really got tested.
Yeah,
As you can hear.
definitely.
Yeah.
It was actually you and another DJ Koturorti, who broke the system the first time. So we had to get sponsorship and actually expand the car audio system even more.
Yeah, it wasn't me. I never play loud. But it's like extremely tempting playing loud on this car.
Yeah, definitely. But it was a good thing that it blew up, because then I did a DJ gig for someone, or like my father's supplier when he was competing. So the same supplier asked me to do a DJ gig for free, speakers.
A swap.
Yeah,
That's
a
great.
swap.
Yeah. Yeah, so you actually, but how was that? Who did you play to and how was that gig?
That was really good. It was you played there, but you played at the end.
Yeah,
but
I didn't talk about that gig. I'm talking about the sponsorship deal with.
Oh yeah, wow! You don't want to know. It was
I
kind
don't
of this electronics store. What's it called? Not Expert, but Power.
Aha.
It has this the guy who supplies with the car audio sound system merch or equipment. He merged with this big electronic company, and then they had like this summer party in one of these, Carpe Diem or Carpe, the rappers, the big Norwegian rappers. I don't know. I've never heard them, but they have this big.
Are they from the same area?
Yeah, I would almost think so. No, I don't know, sure, but
ambient group.
yeah, maybe. Yeah,
Maybe, yeah.
the rap with ambient melodies.
Diss tracks, maybe. Yeah. Sorry about the. Yeah, go on your story, Sanjay.
But yeah, he anyways, like he borrowed their like studio, or like they have this old theater house in Skien that they bought and have their studio in, and then there's a big hall there. So he set up like this huge sound system, and I was playing there. But really, people just want you to pump up the jam. So I told them, like, I get free equipment anyways. Like, ask your boss to drop me, and I can go home happy and put on Spotify.
Yeah, that's it's really could be really rough out there for DJs. I also know this. I know now. I always knew when to say no to gigs, like julebord, and like everything, like tasting julebord, and even utdrikningslag. It's like a complete no-go. I don't want to be in that situation where people really don't. But I think or sometimes you can get surprised. Something really not working, something you think that wouldn't work, and people are just super excited about the music. So I think maybe playing for them.
Yeah, I think we used to play or I'm mostly used to play at smaller villages or smaller places in Norway, and you get all type of crowds, so you kind of have to figure out how to work with the crowds in these places. And we have this club concept with Caroline Tampere and Magnus Holmen, which is Kabel Vogue, and Klubb for Alle, which you have played at as well. And yeah, so we tried a few times to get these people hooked on. I'm not saying it's super alternative or anything. It's dub, reggae, some jungle, good times, good vibes.
But there is it's an interesting thing. It could be a topic for a whole broadcast maybe. Why is it that there is such a big dub and reggae scene in the north of Norway? And I don't have an answer to that. We should get someone. You have any thoughts about?
I don't know. I found out. Someone told me last week about actually on Labor Day. Someone told me that 12 years back, Mad Professor came to Liaf, this Lofoten Art Festival.
Lofoten International Arts Festival.
Yeah, thank you.
Liaf,
and Mad Professor was there doing a workshop.
Yeah, it's in 2000 and...
I don't know, between, I guess it's early 2000.
Aha, yeah, it's big. But they say that Horten is the dub and reggae capital of Norway.
Really?
Since that's the only place Bob Marley played a live show. it was raining and people with umbrellas, the people of Horten is like crazy for dub and reggae, but also like Lofoten is. I remember I was playing in Kabelvåg and staying at your house, and I was woken up in the middle of the night by someone playing dub and reggae music and chanting. And first I thought it was you that was drunk and lost your mind and started like, Jah Rastafari. Of course, Spanish guy, a neighbor. It's interesting. He was like really feeling like getting up in the morning, 8 o'clock in the morning, blasting some dub tracks and chanting to Jah, and quite out of quite weird.
Yeah, but I think a lot of Spanish people are into the dub and reggae scene. Is quite big in Spain.
Yeah, probably. But then they moved to Lofoten and they blast the thing in the morning.
Yeah, that's because he knows it's me. He didn't know that you were in the house.
No, it was a little rough start to that morning. But I've also heard the theory about they feel that the darkness of the north, they have to compensate for the darkness of the north.
Yeah, definitely.
With some good vibes, some like lovers rock, reggae. Nice bass music. When it's like cold and dark, then like find the comfort in this.
Yeah, I think like in some way we probably got really inspired by like that I'm still in North Norway because of these things. Like there's another type of energy. Like people really want to kind of get to know you, but at the same time they really like a good party, and like they becomes like these smaller communities, but then there's a lot of stuff happening, or sometimes all at once, almost like you're in a big city where you're just like, no, today I'm gonna sit inside. I'm not going out.
Yeah, it brings us over to stuff happening in Tromsø, and I know stuff happening in Tromsø, but we have to go to rewind a little bit. I don't have a rewind. I have like this horn. I should have a whoop, 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 rewind a little bit. And also, if anyone is watching this, if you have questions for Sanjey, if you have questions for me, let's see. Feel free to hit us up in the chat. And if you have like anything, or if you just want to say hi, if you want to ask why the hi-hat is too loud on the last Center of the Universe album, hit us up in the chat. We're taking questions in the by the end. We will take some questions, but now it's my turn to ask you questions. And the next question is when and why you got interested in, or what started you digging in the Tamil music and culture roots. It hasn't been like this all the time.
No,
has it?
No, as I said, like I was basically like normal childhood in Skien, or like pretty basic average childhood in Norway, playing football and being with the mates and everything. And then I think like when I grew older in like my early 20s, I started asking questions about like, but like, why am I really here in Norway? Like, actually, why am I born in Norway? And I knew we came from war and this, but like, as you grow older, you start to take things a bit seriously, you know, like, so kind of starting to ask your parents about what went down in Sri Lanka, and also kind of starting, I wanted to go there as well and make like a film project. So I went there and started interviewing people and tried to figure out things around regarding the war, but and the genocide on the Tamils. But at the same time, when I came back home, I was like, well, this is pretty rough stuff, doing this all by yourself. So I think at some point, one of my teachers at school said like, I think you need something a bit more lighter, like this is getting pretty dark and you're not getting anywhere with it. So that's when I wanted to do the car audio system and followed the trails of what actually is our story here in Norway, because I relate more to that, right? I've been living here my whole time, so that's when we built the car as a tribute to also Norwegian Tamil history here in Norway. and then again looking at this car as a possibility to kind of get to know other people, maybe coming from the same circumstances, or even meet other Tamils around the country to see if we can build up a little community and make art projects, and it's slowly building itself up.
Yeah, but you started when I got to know you. You were starting to have this DJ, like digging like DJs does. Tell me a little bit about.
So it kind of follows the same route. I was just like, now I want to really delve into the Tamil music, and I've been grown up with Tamil music. We used to have like big parties in the 90s. Actually, it's on the screen now. That in that house in the corner, like it was in the background there. But we used to have big parties with a lot of Tamil music. My father of course, had these car audio systems to play Tamil music. So at some point, because I haven't been that much into electronic music scene either, you know, like it came gradually after I ditched Spotify and kind of like went into Bandcamp and YouTube, and then I started like taking up all these like hit songs, and then I started like looping or like sampling some of the drums and some of the sounds, and now I'm like getting way into it, like there where I produced some of the music, and you used even some of the sample packs.
Yeah. I think you also told that you now when you're a real digger is that when you start to like find people's old CDs and get like a CD ripper and make your own sample packs and kind of dig up stuff, because it's not something. There are hit songs from the 90s and stuff, but there's a lot of unreleased music from Sri Lanka, isn't it? Or like tapes that just go away, or CDs that people just have in the drawer.
Yeah, like there's a lot of like different remixes and mashups and stuff like that, but most of the music is kind of based in the southern India region, because that's where Collab, the film, like the Tamil film industry is from. So most of it is like South Indian or Tamil based in South India. But in Sri Lanka there's actually more, how would you call danseband in English music?
Norwegian dance band.
Yeah, it's almost like that.
It's like a party band, maybe. Yeah. They don't have pub rock, maybe they have in the UK. But dance band is an interesting story, actually, when you think about music history. It's like if American rockabilly and gammeldans, Norwegian, Swedish gammeldans, maybe some slager. It's weird when you start dissecting the dance band. It starts getting interesting at some point. But they also say that, like in Brazil, they have this forró music. They also say it's like this. It's the Brazilian counterpart to the Swedish and Norwegian dance band.
Wow.
But and it's something with the chords and something that's similar. But I don't know how this. I would be interested in hearing how this.
Yeah, but that's really interesting, because my idea or my. I haven't found out about this. This is my pure speculation, but I think like when the Portuguese colonized Sri Lanka, they also brought some of their music in, and especially for the majority people in Sri Lanka, the Sinhalese people, they started making something called baila music, which baila is like a more like a Portuguese version of danseband, basically. That they play, but at the same time Tamil pop was also inspired by that, so it came like as a breakout from the baila music, which became like Tamil pop in the 60s and 70s. But really Sri Lanka doesn't really, they have more like, now it's much more like underground music scene in today's music scene, but more of the traditional music is more based on like village music, like more kind of ritualistic chants and also like everyday singing yeah, and like singing in the temples and music from the temples. So it's quite more like ancient music
like these
based.
drums,
Yeah,
temple drums.
temple drums.
Yeah.
So yeah, so it's kind of like the South India is more kind of this more pop, like this modern day pop that every Tamil person from Sri Lanka listens to is basically from South India. But now that I started digging into the Sri Lankan environment, I see that there's very cool artists. There's this one death metal band called Genocide Shrines. They're pretty cool.
That's a rough name.
Yeah, and that's pretty dark, but pretty cool. And yeah, you have a lot of diaspora Tamils who makes music, especially a lot of hip hop and also like modern day pop and R&B. Which most of them come from Canada, but of course you have MIA, who's like the biggest Tamil Sri Lankan star. Yeah, the one and only.
People heard of.
Yeah. And then now I found out also that Damian Marley is has a little bit of Tamil in him when he made this new song called "Welcome to Jaffna," which is like the Tamil capital in Sri Lanka.
We should link that up in the chat. Actually, there's some action in the chat now.
Oh yeah.
We should have a little look if you're ready for some questions.
Yes.
If you see how it says. It's actually our good friend Christopher that helped us rig up the studio. I have a couple of questions about Sasusu Radio. Can you see?
Yeah. Should I read it?
Yeah, you can answer it. Yeah, you can. People will see it, so you can answer it if you want to.
Yeah. Is Sasusu Radio also broadcasted or just live from car system? Good question. I think like we're kind of easy on it now. We use the resources that we have. Of course, we would love to do broadcast and all these things, but we just need knowledge like you guys do in this studio right now. So hopefully we're trying to also make this a more stationary radio platform where we can start broadcasting and do more community radio-based work in Tromsø, where we are based right now. So that's the dream. But right now we're doing more live radio and record it, and then we put it out on SoundCloud.
Yeah, so that we should also link in the chat actually, the Sasusu SoundCloud. There's a lot of good mixes and even some you had from live from no, that was Kablog actually, but you played on the live from Bergen.
Yeah. That's true. We did the Surfinset Skole, the Nordland. You played at Surfinset as well.
Yeah, that's a long time ago.
Yeah, and
can people hear my chair on the? Maybe I should get another chair on the podcast. It's like I don't think. Hey, there is. I think I'll let Sanjay answer your question while I swap the chair. And there's another question.
Yeah, should I just go? I can wait with my brother. He can wait.
No, go ahead. Answer your brother.
Okay. Do you have any tempo drum effects on the controller there? I think that was the question for you.
Yeah, I don't have that.
Maybe we can imagine if badumps. That's the closest we get. Maybe if we do it really fast.
That was much better.
Yeah.
Now, I think it's the only. There's no drums on the sampler.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, not for next time. We will. But keep the questions coming in the chat and like and share and subscribe and everything to the YouTube, since you're supposed to say that. I don't know if there's too many people watching this. This talk show yet, but it will be super big, like maybe in a few years. Yeah. After I had you, it was just like
boom, skyrocketing.
Skyrocket, like folk music and electronic music, Joe Rogan, but not with the conspiracies.
Yeah, hopefully next time we can bring the whole Sasusu Radio family into the studio.
Yeah, that would be cool. We have some more space and yeah, that would be cool. Maybe we will gonna have like DJ set also.
Oh, that would have been amazing.
Without all the questions. Now I'm going to ask the really It's more questions. There's more questions from RJ.
What will you do when the car breaks down? I guess you have to ask your father, Ajay, where he said like we had to EU approve it, the car, just a few weeks back. So I had to drive it down from Tromsø pretty early to get it fixed. My dad was going to fix all the like faults. And it was like in Tromsø they wanted to take 30,000. He said, "Come down here, you will do it for 10." And then he fixed it. And then he calls me up after I get the car, and then he says, and I said like, "Yeah, is it fine? Yeah, it's fine. It's all good. Yeah, so it's good for another the next 2 years." And then he's like, "Next time I hope I'm dead." So what am I going to do when it breaks down? I think that's when we have to do maybe some broadcast FM, dub, and web radio.
Yeah, but I think there's like forces watching the car. And I hope for your dad's health. I think it's such a cool thing with this project that you have your brother and you have like your father lurking in the background, helping you out with making the system run.
Yeah.
And I think it's really nice. It's really like a charming thing. Like the guys helping each other out, and it's a family thing. And I have one more question before the hard question that I ask. The hard question I ask everyone who's coming to this talk show about. And it's you had a festival in Skien.
That's true. That's true.
Tell me a little bit about how what and.
No, I thought like me and my brother has been discussing last year, especially here you see it in the background, about doing this Sasusu Radio Festival, and then of course we wanted to have kind of the same spirit as my parents had these parties, house parties in the 90s. With all these immigrants and refugees coming to these parties and partying their ass off. So we wanted to kind of also do that in Skien, in our garden of our parents. So we bring in the car and we invite people from the neighborhood. Because we missed kind of also, back in the days you also had these street parties more in around Norway, where they closed off the streets and stuff. But nowadays you don't do that. Maybe in Oslo they do that a fair bit, but outside in the suburbs and around in Norway, you don't see that much of it. You know.
They don't do that too much. They do it sometimes when they have like dugnad.
Yeah.
Then they did like where I live. They did like then they had like put out tables and. But I'm super. Excited about this thing, like having people getting out in the streets and like reclaiming the neighborhood.
Yeah.
Like not only staying inside
and like looking through your curtains at
Did
your
neighbors show up?
Yeah, actually our neighbors on the side showed up. We didn't get any complaints until like 10 o'clock. Then there was this lady coming around trying to tell us to shut it down, but she had looked wrongly on her invitation and like the information about how long it was going to be. So we had like an open program with like radio show and we had our MC Prabhara Mama, which was actually talking about this Portuguese byline, was singing it, and also Tamil songs with this dance band vibe.
Yeah.
So so then we, I think he's behind me. If I do this, is he behind me?
Uh-huh.
Maybe there. He's there. You see him singing there? Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that's him.
Yeah.
So so we had the different type of program with and food, of course, and of course I have to also say that after 6 o'clock we did like close it to like but we didn't like tell people to leave. We said like stay until you feel like it, but that was like the open program was finished. And then we had a little party because I also combined it with my 30-year-old birthday as well. So,
yeah.
So we did that, and yeah, it was good fun. And as you can see here, there's a lot of young people, but there was people of all ages there, and that's what I really like about like these Tamil parties that people throw every weekend, basically, in all over Norway. That like it's quite like all ages come and they eat and people drink and there's a party and people dance and kind of it's really like a community building thing. So hopefully we can do this year as well and get you to play. But you're having a tight schedule in
No,
the summer
I'm not having a tight
times.
schedule, but there's there's some stuff going on in the weekends, especially when it approaches. But I'm like playing one festival, I think, maybe two. But it's like it's not too much.
Yeah.
You should play. I was thinking if there's some people from festivals watching the show, you should book the car. Sasusu Radio with the car. It would be when I saw it, I thought it would be like the perfect thing for any festival, actually, because it's easy. You don't need a stage. You need like power and some space. It's actually a super good idea for a festival.
Yeah.
Having your show, it's like I don't know why people don't do that yet.
I don't know, like we're pretty, I think also we're not that hardcore on social media. As I said, like we want to do like more physical presence and like keep that as a big core thing about the project, to meet people eye to eye, and then the words will spread by itself. So, but for the commercial world, that's not the way to go. But
I don't know if that's how things work nowadays, but it works also.
Yeah.
You get the word around.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a good idea in the long run.
yeah, and I also think that it's also important to say that we are also very cautious about who we use this car audio system for. We're kind of like, we try to not make it into this party car. We're trying to build like this Norwegian Tamil presence and try to talk about it. And of course you are perfect for it because you also sample a lot of things from all over the world, and you have a lot of knowledge about music from different parts of the world, and I think that is perfect for our radio as well as
Sorry.
no, as well as we find other DJs who also plays music from all over the world. And
You can have and I think you can have different DJs playing different kind of music on this car, and it
Definitely.
will work well. But it's a curated thing. It's like there's a lot of music a lot of DJs that would not suit this project.
no, I
And more
think-
like the russebus element is taking care of itself.
Yeah, that was
So-
pretty funny, this russebus thing, because we did like we had a kulturelle skolesekken, the cultural school bag, where we
Yes.
went to this high school, where of course the last day we have our last school program, they of course open up their russefeiring or their initiation the same day.
Yeah.
So we open up their celebration, which is like really a contradiction for us, where we talk about Norwegian Tamil, and then they start talking about the Russ being a Russ, and
It's not a good thing, but I think also it's something that you can't really stop it either. But I think like it's one of the it's not a good way of introducing people to party culture, if I'm saying it. I think we should try to teach people to party safely, not all at once in the middle of the exam and stuff. And the music is bad too.
Yeah, that's
but
it.
And like sexistic lyrics and everything. But I think it's not like really that dangerous. Maybe you shouldn't be too scared of it. I think you won't attract a bad audience with this kind of type of project anyway.
Yeah, but like I guess like we two are a bit like the generational gap is quite like I lived through the russemusikk when it was like starting to become popular.
Yeah.
So for me it's kind of like where it was and where it is now. You can really tell that like okay, but like when is this gonna like peak and like
It will end when they stop the Russe thing altogether.
yeah, like the culture, the whole
Then they
culture,
will
the music
then
dies.
they will have to do ambient music.
Yeah.
It is all the
They
buses
do
are
yoga retreats in the buses.
yeah, like just like new age music. There will be we get hired. Maybe Kristoffer Lisselgaard get hired to do Russe hits because they have to just chill down.
Yeah,
And,
but maybe we can like trick the algorithms on Spotify and so on to try to like delve into the more underground electronic scene by itself, and then people start listening to that instead.
yeah, we could like have some evil AI taking over and hack the algorithm so it would be like only underground music.
Or maybe we should just go to outside the Russe party and like if there's like a Bluetooth because they want it as easy as possible, we can just jam the Bluetooth and then put on.
Yeah. I'm feeling a little guilty because I was actually teaching Russ how to DJ.
Oh my God!
But
you started
but I was also like kind of teaching them to like at school, like just to DJ in general.
Yeah.
But then they became a lot of Russ hits, but also other music. So they were also like sharing music among them, and like and everyone got to DJ, and even so that was actually a good thing. And I think when they're finished with this, then they will still be interested in music.
Yeah.
When they finish with this party, they will still. It could lead somewhere. I don't think it's that bad actually.
Yeah.
I think it's bad to like start drinking a lot the first time. It's a really stupid idea. Well, we have to continue. With a super hard question, not to be depressed about this Russe thing, since we talk like old men.
Can I press this?
You can press like this. You can press. No, boo! Here comes the hard question. It's a modification of the hard question. I ask this to everyone coming to the talk show. Yeah, and since you're not making an album, as I know, I have to modify this. Since you're first of all a filmmaker, how is the new film coming along?
Well, so the film is called Lille Ilam på verdens ende, Little Ilam at the end of the world, which is about the Tamils who lived on the top of Norway, in the very end of Norway, in a municipality called Vardø, which is also an island. On this island, in the late 80s, early 90s, there were 400 to 500 Tamils who lived in a town of 3,000 to 4,000 people. Because they came to kind of work in the fishing industry to get their family to reunite in Norway. So that's how they did that. So they made a big community up in the north. But after like early 2000 and the kind of breakdown of the fishing industry, shout out to Kystopprøret.
Yeah, one more time. Shout out to Kystopprøret.
Kystopprøret.
There you go.
Yes. And and when they started doing this privatization of fishing quotas, they started these fisheries were shut down. Where you get the fish to come after, and the Tamils were packing the fish and working at these type of factories, but they all broke down and then they all went down south, and most of them live here in Oslo now. So that film is going well. We're making like a documentary and a fiction, we're in an editing mode right now, but I'm also broke, so I have to juggle between a lot of things. So that was a really hard question actually at this point.
How it's coming along.
Yeah.
But it is going to be finished.
Yeah, it is going to be finished.
And it's the film about these people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But also, like, I put my spin on it with, it's also a fiction inside it, where we talk about what if the Tamil people who lived in Vardø never left the island, and what if they were the last Tamils who are on the planet.
Yeah, it's a counterfactual science fiction thing almost.
So,
but
and
there's a lot of them still living in Vardø. Some of them still lives in Vardø.
None.
None?
No.
No.
Zero.
Zero?
Yeah.
So they all left?
Yeah.
And not to other parts of the north?
No. So most of them, like, there were Tamils spread all over the coast in Norway, but most of them, like, especially in the northern Norway, they went down south.
Yeah.
As most Norwegians also do these days.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm waiting for this people moving north.
Yeah.
After in this new geopolitical situation, maybe not Finnmark, but like there's like people moving out. Oslo is people like moving out and moving out. But don't know. I was just like having a idea about people. Now we have to go north. We have to, like, climate change and war and everything. We have to go like north and to the other parts of the country.
Are you ready for that?
No, not necessarily. I think we have to fix climate change with like technology, like beaming clouds and stuff. No, I'm not ready for that. I hope it will be like still be like this little peaceful island in the world where not too much happens. But I could like see the fascination for moving to the north of Norway. That is something I can absolutely understand. Like you living in Tromsø, or like living in Kabelvåg, if I didn't have a family and didn't have stuff to do here, I can't see I even like that it's dark and cold.
Yeah.
And
And imagine center of the universe, but making music up in the north in the dark. How would your music sound then?
It would be like a Biosphere, but just worse. Not too. The synth sounds are like more crap, and no reverb. Maybe.
No reverb.
Like ambient music with no reverb. It would be like that. I'm not sure if we want that to happen actually. Yeah. Are there any more questions in the chat? No. There's no more questions in the chat. So yeah, I think we're kind of rounding off soon. What do you think, Sanjay? Do you have anything more that I have a few more questions. You actually talked about. We talked about most of the questions. The things that I was like really curious about.
Yeah.
I got to know that now. But I have one more question, and we're rounding off with a grand finale with a track that we'll talk more about later. It's a cliffhanger. And my last question for you is, also since you're based in Tromsø, I actually have two more questions. The electronic music scene in Tromsø, is it like this, or is it like this, or is it like this now? How is it going?
Well, since I came very late into my interest of electronic music, I didn't know that there was such a rich history of electronic music scene in Tromsø. So, but I was introduced to electronic music basically like live in Tromsø, like in the start, especially the underground music scene. So at this festival called Insomnia Festival, which you have played at more.
Just at the kickoff.
At the kickoff, yeah. But at least there I got introduced to a lot of music that I now, basically love. So that is kind of how I understand that this rich history is kind of now the bearer of that rich history in Tromsø currently. That festival, when we used to study in Collab, we used to go there every year. We just knew that even if there was a course we had to go to, mandatory course, we were like, no, you can't do that. It's Insomnia.
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah, but like this is a film, an art school, and we're like, yeah, but this is like there is sound in film. Like you have to let us go. Like this is proper research, you know.
Yeah,
So,
but that's true.
Yeah,
Actually,
yeah.
it's time well spent. I think if you actually, go on.
That's it. And so later on, I got to hear about the former music scene and which artists surprisingly came from there, but maybe now are not living there. But some of the older guard, the veterans, they're still there. You have Biosphere, and you have
Per Martinsen.
yeah, and then Shoutouts, and then you have Charlotte Bendix, who comes up and down a lot. So she's basically also based in Berlin, but based in Tromsø at the same time.
A secret, you might be surprised who you'll meet on this talk show later.
Yeah.
But,
And so yeah, it's a bit different now also because back in the days I heard that they did a lot of like DIY parties, and that's how they also got people hooked and introduced to this music, as with any music scene. But previously you had access to a lot of buildings and places to play, but now there is not that much of that. So the DIY scene is kind of declining because a lot of the buildings now are kind of office spaces and they cost a lot of money, and so it's quite harder to do it now. Of course, if you have a car audio system, it's a bit different. But as I said, like right context for the right parties, we do. So yeah, it's kind of like going like this because of Insomnia always being like the big highlight of the year.
yeah.
But I wish that we had more places to play. Now there's Verdensteatret, which is the only like club place, but it's not really a club place. It's like a waiting room before you go into the oldest cinema in Norway. You know, I'm really wishing for more places to play electronic music and different type of music. Like.
They should make. I think the state should make a museum actually, in not a museum, but they should make it like a house in Tromsø that's dedicated to electronic music.
Yeah.
Like some like old fisherman's house or something, the state should come in and say like, for once we are taking electronic music seriously, the Tromsø techno, the ambient, like the story. Because if you look at the electronic music history, you look at the start of house and techno, you have like Detroit, Berlin, London, and Tromsø, and Bergen to an extent. Like doing stuff in the 80s, like Brygga Radio, they should actually like throw out whatever it is inside Brygga Radio now and make a kind of like Tromsø's electronic music house and get tourists there and raves there and stuff. That's my opinion. That's if the state can hear me, put a lot of money into that, and then you also could extend to like the music you do, and it would be awesome. It should be taken seriously. You have an opera, you should have an electronic music house, and it should be there actually. It would be good distriktspolitik, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I think so, definitely. And also like, as you said, take it seriously. Like, don't spend your time being so proud of Røyksopp that came from Tromsø when you're not even keeping on building infrastructure for this culture to keep going.
They could have a statue in that museum.
Yeah,
Whatever.
Like do that.
Tromsø could be like a wax figure of the guys from Tromsø, no, from the like Røyksopp, and then you can have like Per Martinsen play live on a modular system and new artists and Charlotte Bendix and DJs and. Because it's a super huge. It's one thing that one shout out actually I wanted to give is to Beat Service Records, and Vidar, who actually was there when it started, and he's still there, and he still releases good music. You know him?
Yeah. No, I don't know it.
But Beat Service Records is like they've released some like Arctic Circles in the 90s and like great electronic music albums from Tromsø, and they are actually still active and they still do really good electronic music.
Yeah.
Now I'm talking too much. And last question for Sanjey before we round off. Yeah, is you actually maybe answered a little bit already. Is there any artists or DJs or even visual artists we really should look out for?
Yeah, well, there's plenty, but I'll probably give a shout out to, of course, the Norwegian Tamil community and like the people who works in the arts and crafts of the Norwegian sphere. So shout out to Ila Vasu Jayapalan, which is also known as DJ Kotiroti. Also DJ Satam, that's also my brother. Shout out to him. And of course, like shout out to the rest of the Sasusu Radio family. But also Vera Dvale, shout out to her. There's so many to be proud about also within my scene. Like you have so many good DJs with so much music, and I really hope that we can soon be playing together in Tromsø and get nights for ourselves and not share every DJ gig by 5 DJs because we don't get anywhere else to play. And also get paid.
Yeah, but we're rounding off. Thanks. We'll have a quick look. Any more questions? There's actually no more questions. This will stay online. Like and subscribe and share. And thanks to Sanjey for coming. And it's been so fun talking to you. Now we're rounding off with a track that we did together almost 1.5 years ago, because we actually did the track together. I should have a disclaimer. I'm not like a neutral journalist, but I think this rounds it off pretty well because it both has this Tamil text and a little center of the universe in it. So thanks, and see you next time, and thanks to you. Here you go.
Here we go.